So we've got a question from Sister Zahra Saleh. It says, MashaAllah, I'm looking forward to registering my daughter this year. I just had a question. How do you accommodate for international students? Sister Zulekha, would you like to answer that?
Salam. Thank you, Sister Zahra, for your question. Children are welcome from all over the world, and I think that's what makes Ja'fariya Academy so unique. As long as you are within, as long as your time zones are not too far away from us. So 3 hours, I think, before or after, I think is something that we can do. We have children, like I said, from countries around the world, such as Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, Oman, the UAE. So we accommodate, and we can make, as long as you have a good internet connection, that's all you need. And you can happily be a part of Ja'fariya Academy. And like the brother said before, if you want a personalized tour of the school to see our resources, to see how the school works and what's available to you, please contact us and we will give you a bespoke individual virtual tour of our school, inshallah.
Thank you, Sister Zulekha. Haji Furat,
yes.
Physical activity is very important at Ja'fariya Academy. You know, Sister Maryam passionately spoke about, you know, the sports that are being done. What if, you know, some parents are saying, maybe we don't live in London, we live outside of London. So on the first level, maybe in different cities in England, in the UK, and on the second level, what if they're living in different countries? Are there now, are you thinking about having a sports hub or a physical hub in different cities around the world? Has that been spoken about?
Yeah, no, it's a very good question, and it's something that we think about and we plan for, inshallah. We've been limited with what we can do due to the pandemic. We only started having activities in April after the first lifting of the restrictions. So we started off doing the activities in London, but we have the once a week activity. Many students come from outside of London to attend that. We also plan to have activities during the midterm breaks, so like sports camps, summer camps, and so on. In addition to that, we will have trips. So there's the annual Ziyara trip that we plan, and inshallah, everyone will be welcome to join that from all over the world, and that will be the grand event of the year, to visit the holy sites, visit our scholars, and so on. So whether it's going to be termly, or annual, there'll be lots of scope for students to participate, not only in social and sporting events and activities, but also in educational activities. See, because of the lockdown, we try to focus now on just sports, lots of sports, just to get the students out there. But moving forward in the next academic year, we will have a more balanced approach. So there will be like library visits, museum visits, many field trips, part of the entrepreneurship club that we intend to start as well. So lots of scope for education, entrepreneurship, in addition to the sports, socials, and the well-being programs that we have, inshallah.
Thank you, Haji, for addressing that. Can I ask our primary school teacher, Sister Yasmin Al-Bayati. Sister, as a teacher, sometimes it's difficult to keep the children always focused. It's difficult maybe in class, in physical form. How do you keep children always focused when it's online? And this is something that maybe some parents might be asking.
I mean, I think that's a very good question. I think that's something that can be a challenge both online, but also within the classroom. Being a teacher, I've worked within a classroom, I've worked online. I think that's definitely a challenge for all teachers. But at Ja'fariya, the lessons we deliver, alhamdulillah, they're very dynamic. They appeal to a variety of learners. We ensure that the lessons are enjoyable for the children, that they challenge each individual. So our lessons, you know, they're differentiated to meet the ability of the need of each child, to be able to challenge and inspire each individual child. We try to make our lessons fun, and we use a variety of fun educational resources, such as, you know, I mentioned earlier, My Maths, Oxford Owl, which the children also absolutely love. And then just as an example as well, we have a feature, the breakout room feature, which we use quite a lot in primary. So it allows the children to work in groups, just like they would within the classroom. And then that way they're able to learn from one another as well. We also give them regular breaks between lessons where they're encouraged to move away from the screen, to be a little more active, and sort of, do little exercises and then come back for the next lesson.
Thank you. Our maths teacher, how do you make sure that the children are actually doing their work online? In physical form, maybe you go check their books. How do you do that when you're doing it online? How do you know they're actually, doing the exercises or doing the equations in maths that you're giving them?
Well, I make sure at the end of every lesson they submit all of their work that they do. They submit it to me on the platform, and I emphasize that I don't want their work typed up. It's maths. Maths has to be written. No one types up maths. It's not something you do. You need a pencil, you need a pen, you need to sit there and write. So I make sure at the end of every lesson they are submitting on the platform. They take a photo of their work from their exercise book and they submit it to me. So I know that they've done their work correctly, and I will comment on any work that, just like in a normal class where, you would walk around and you would see their work and tell them, this is not how you do it. You have to do it this way. In a virtual classroom, you will do that at the end of the lesson, where once they've submitted their work, you'll see it and you'll give them feedback. And if it needs to be done again, I will ask them to do it again. If working out isn't shown, I will tell them do it again and show you're working out. So exactly the same way. But I do make sure whenever they've done a piece of work, I want to see that piece of work and I want them to submit it to me so I know it's been done, just like how you would anywhere else. Yeah.
Thank you, Sister Sarah, I saw you were very passionate when you spoke about Arabic and the importance of Arabic. Obviously, maybe it's easier for someone whose parents are Arabs or Iraqis or from an Arabic country. How do you find it teaching maybe children whose parents are not Arabs? And how do you, make sure that you're giving everyone the equal opportunity in learning Arabic? If their parents are, for example, not Arabs, maybe some parents who are Arabs, it would be easier for their children. How do you make sure that everyone's getting the same level of requirements that they need with regard to Arabic? Unmute the mic.
Thank you for that question, Brother Mustafa. That's actually a very important question. Before we started the school year, Brother Farat and I had a lot of discussions about the curriculum until we came down to the curriculum that we have now, which is specifically catered to both Arabic children from both Arabic and non-Arabic backgrounds. So it's the books we use so they're different curriculums for different stages of the Arabic learning journey. So for early years, we have a specific books which is the very foundation of the reading and the writing, and everything is written in both English and Arabic. So it encourages them to be independent learners as well. So they together in class we work through the curriculum, and when they go home, I don't need to be with them. If they've forgotten something or they're finding something difficult, the translation is written there in English of the vocabulary or of the verbs or anything that we have learned in class that day or that week. So when I set them homework for the week, they have everything they need, all the resources they need in that curriculum to help them learn independently and just recap and everything that we've learned during the week, which is really important, I think. And alhamdulillah, we can see the curriculum we've used has been really successful so far.
Thank you, Sarah. Sister Maryam, you mentioned something again. By the way, people watching, whether you're watching back or you're watching this later, none of the teachers know what I'm going to ask them, because I'm literally making these questions based on what they said. So I thank you for answering the questions that I'm addressing to you. You mentioned something beautiful, which you're the head of the sports, director of sports at Jafariya Academy. But you mentioned something beautiful, and you said that the children had beautiful akhlaq. That's something maybe that someone with regards to sports might not mention, because they'll be speaking about their sports activities. But you mentioned they had beautiful akhlaq. Why did you pick up on that, and can you elaborate on that?
Yes, of course. Well, one example comes to mind. So we had a session just now, just before this, which is why Sister Zuleika and myself look really like we've been running in the sun. I was refereeing the boys' football, and I was in the middle of the pitch with the boys, and one of the lads kicked the ball and smacked me right in the face, right here. And for a minute, because I was this close to goal, you would have thought he'd have turned around and scored. He stopped. He came over to me. Miss, are you okay? And I've never seen that. I play football with all ages, with different cultures. That is the first time I have seen someone come to me when they're this close to goal and they were losing, they could have scored, and ask me, are you okay? I'm sorry about that. So, and that's one example. That's just today. I see it with the girls as well. You know, team playing, you can see they've instilled that ethos of, that's my colleague, okay, we missed it, but let me go help her up, she fell over, or let me pass to her. Just because she's physically smaller than me doesn't mean I should exclude her. You can just see it, and it comes naturally to them. That is nothing I've taught. I will teach them winning is important secretly, but the team play, they already have. Now maybe it's down to these wonderful teachers, maybe it's the culture, but I cannot fault them. They're a pleasure to play with. So alhamdulillah.
Thank you, Sports Director Mariam Datu. I think that's what makes Ja'fariya Academy unique. I think the team will all agree with me that what makes Ja'fariya Academy unique is it's not a normal school where you just go there and you learn your maths, your geography, whatever subject there's something extra that you're gaining. That's why everyone that has spoken has mentioned that it's not a normal team we work in. We work as a family, and you feel that even though it's online, a lot of us are getting used to the new virtual world. A lot of us are still working online, but you never feel like you're in a part of a family when you're working at work online. But with Ja'fariya Academy, you have that feeling, and that's what makes Ja'fariya Academy so unique. Haji Farhat, have I missed out anything? Would you like to add anything else? I know I don't want to take too much time. I don't want to be speaking too much as well.
No problem. No, it's always a pleasure to listen to you, brother. Somebody sent me a message asking about separation of sports. And I just wanted to re-emphasize that boys and girls play sports separately. So on Friday, they play for 3 hours. The girls are inside in the sports hall, and the boys are outside on the AstroTurf. On Sunday, in the football club, the boys play on one pitch and the girls play on another pitch, which is completely secluded, and no one has access to that. Nobody can go to it except for the female coaches. So it's Sharia compliant sports, and the football club on Sunday is open to the public. So we've got, by now we have about 90 participants, members, and they're boys and girls. And a good portion of them are from outside of the school. So anyone who would like to subscribe to that is more than welcome to do so. One more thing I just wanted to mention, since they asked, we have a JA boys social and we have a JA girls social as well. And those run on different days. So the event that you saw a recording of was the Saturday of the boys, and the following Saturday was for the girls. And as a matter of fact, on the 26th of June, we have the next JA social for the girls, and on July 3rd, we'll have the JA social for boys, inshallah. So that's on sports and socials. We've got a couple of questions that come in. I'm going to post them to the screen, and then we'll answer them, inshallah.
It's from Farhan Ali Husseini. Assalamu alaikum. I just came across your page on Instagram. Alhamdulillah, somebody's watching us on Instagram. It's always good that we are on different media platforms, social media platforms. Could you please provide more details about age limits of registration and, if possible, about fees yearly or monthly? Thank you, Jazakallah.
I think Sister Zuleika can address that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Brother Farhan, for your question. So we start our children at the age of 5, so from year 1 onwards. And we go all the way now from September 2021. We have children who are going to be doing the year 10s on their pathway to GCSEs. For our fees, you can go to our website, and on the admissions page, you're going to be able to see the breakdown of all of our fees for the relevant age groups for your children, inshallah.
Thank you for answering that question. The next question we have, H92. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for a great open day. I wanted to ask, how do children from different cities tackle the social aspect if they are not able to attend the hub activities or attend them frequently. We mentioned something. Would you like to add anything to that, Haji Farah?
Yeah, so once again, it's because of the pandemic where we're limited. I think we addressed it, but basically there's weekly, half-termly, termly, and annual events. So those who miss some part will always be able to attend the other. The social is a monthly event, and starting in September, we'll have a lot more frequency of activities, educational, social, entrepreneurial, as well as sporting activities. So inshallah, if you miss something, you'll always be able to miss something else. Catch something else. And something that I wanted to highlight to parents, although in some schools like mainstream schooling, your child will be subjected to a daily quote unquote social experience, that social experience also comes with its own challenges. And I think you may have read the Ofsted report that was just released 2-3 days ago about some of the harassment. I don't want to, say the full scope of the report because it may be inappropriate for some families watching. But if you like, you can Google it and see what Ofsted has issued about what's happening in some of the mainstream schools. So that social interaction comes at a cost. What we say in Ja'fariya Academy is we give like more of a deeper social interaction. So it's not as frequent, but it's deeper. It's more, meaningful in some ways. So we look forward to nurturing long life friendships, inshallah. And those students can grow up to be, business partners. They can grow up to be family. They can grow up to do so many things together, inshallah.
Thank you, Haji. Next question, if we have again, same persons, or I think we answered that question. Also, are you an officially registered school? Do children in primary have official exams like SATs, which are usually with an official body? Thank you very much. I'll add to that question. I know we've mentioned it during the program, but also GCSEs, do we have those exams if some students want to take them? Who can answer that question?
Okay, I'll answer the registration part, and then the other part, I think Sister Zuleika will be the one to answer. We are a registered educational institution, legally authorized to deliver primary, secondary, and the sporting activities, in addition to a host of other educational services. So legally, we are a registered non-profit organization that delivers all of the above. We have already submitted our application to become a charity, a UK registered charity, but we are already a non-profit organization. So that's in terms of the legal registration. We are a legally registered education provider in the United Kingdom. Now, you may ask, are we accredited? Accreditation is different from registration. Accreditation is something that the Department for Education provides schools. Now, up until recently, online schools, where there was no way for them to become accredited. However, starting this year, the Department for Education has opened a scheme for the online schools to become accredited, and we have been in contact with them on more than one occasion already, and in the process of applying for that accreditation. But with or without this accreditation, we've already modeled Ja'fariya Academy based on the standards published by the Department for Education, which are called the Online Education Standards, which you can find online if you would like. It's the same standards they apply to independent schools. Moreover, the curriculum that we follow is the English National Curriculum, and we as a school provide the maximum number of lessons per week as guided by the Department for Education. So for example, Sister Muruj teaches 4 lessons of maths per week for Key Stage 2. If you ask some state schools even, they will teach maybe 3 lessons per week. So the guidance is maximum 4 lessons per week per core subject, and we give the maximum. And by the way, you can always ask other schools, online schools, other options on the market about this point, which is very, very important, because you will find that many of them don't give that. They give 2 hours or less per subject per week, where at Ja'fariya Academy, we give the maximum limit, inshallah. So all the students are on an excellent pathway towards their GCSE, inshallah.
Thank you. So with regards to
Zulekha?
Yeah, thank you. So with regards to things like SATs and GCSEs, we all know that this year, because of the coronavirus pandemic, all of the official exams were cancelled and we had to gather evidence, and that's how schools were giving children their grades. So like we said, from next year onwards, we have our first official batch of children starting their year 10s, and subsequently from then, inshallah, we will be giving them their GCSEs. So yes, by then, inshallah, we will make sure that we facilitate your children's GCSEs to make sure that they have the best opportunities to do as well as they can. With regards to SATs, children sit SATs at the end of their Key Stage 1 and their Key Stage 2. And even though SATs was cancelled this year for the children across the UK and in all schools, our children are still going to sit a mock SATs, we'd like to call it. They're going to be sitting SAT-style papers, and just so that we know what their levels are at, so the children have been geared towards learning for their SATs this year. The one beautiful thing one of the many beautiful things about our school is that with the whole coronavirus, children going to school, the lockdown, schools on, schools off, our school has been consistent in the educational journey that we've given our children. So we've had quite a lot of extra learning that the children have been exposed to. So with regards to SATs, we will facilitate the SATs exams in the future when they do open up again after the pandemic is over, inshallah. But like I said, this year, our children will sit SAT-style papers internally within the school.
May I add something, Hajj Mustafa?
Yes,
Will you add?
yes, please, please do.
On the point that Sister Zulekha just mentioned, which is actually something I would like to highlight to parents watching, is the flexibility of an online school. So I know we have a father that has 4 children in our school, and just before the second lockdown, he traveled. He went to Iraq, and they stayed there. They just wanted to leave while the lockdown is running in the UK. And their children have been attending their classes from their home country without any disruption. The only thing is, before they arrived to Iraq, he asked me to find out which level of internet they have to subscribe to. And we found out, and they subscribed, they have the right equipment, the right internet connection. They had no disruption at all. We have another parent who is a diplomat and have their children in Ja'fariya Academy, and because every couple of years they move him to a different country, and for him to not disrupt his children's education, he has his children enrolled in Ja'fariya Academy, and so on and so forth. People go on vacation, they go for weddings, they take their children, and everything is fine. So you may find that some people who enroll in Ja'fariya Academy may choose to, for example, travel when it's off-peak season, so they save on airfare, or they may travel and would like to extend their trip for a few more weeks while they're away. And that flexibility is there. Once you untie your chains to the building, the sky is the limit, really. So your school is with you wherever you go.
Thank you for adding those great points, Haji Furat. Is there more questions? Yes. The next question says, do you have a football team that could join in cups with other schools? Our sports director, Mariam.
Thank you, Brother Mustafa. Yes, brilliant question. The football club is fairly new right now, but the intention is, yes, to tier the kids, to nurture their ability. And we're aiming to play some friendlies this year with the aim of then having formalized teams and enlisting them in leagues, inshallah, and other schools as well. We will be organizing them, inshallah.
Inshallah, thank you. Next question, Haji Furat, is there more questions? Do you think you will expand your hubs for international students in the future? I think we touched on this. Would you like to add anything else?
I would say this, that once we have a community, something that we might not have mentioned, once we have a community of students grow in, let's say, another country or another city, then by all means we can create another hub. And that's something, in fact, we even mentioned in the summertime, and when we had the previous open day, that the intention was always to grow communities. Ja'fariya Academy wants to connect communities. So let's say today, if we have like 10 families in Birmingham or Manchester, or even in a country abroad, then by all means, we can start thinking about facilitating activities for them, specifically for them. However, what we are doing right now, is we're connecting the families. So some families are already socializing, they're meeting each other, and so we call it the the social hubs. So many of the families in our school have started doing that. So you will find that those who are, let's say, in Iraq are meeting, those who are in other parts of the country or other parts of the world. By the way, we have a few students from Rwanda, Kigali, Rwanda, and those families are connected as well.
Next question, please. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum salam. Both of my children are most happy with Ja'fariya Academy. Alhamdulillah, the academy covers everything they require for their well-being. Bless you and thank you for everything. I think we would like to thank that person, sister, brother, for their comments. Sister, sorry.
No, this is, I think, Sister Salma, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, thank you, sister, for that comment. And the teachers, the head teacher are in front of you, and they are the core team. Keep them in your du'as, and that's the most important thing for us, to have feedback like this, because our ethos at Ja'fariya Academy is to serve the community. And we feel like the children at Ja'fariya are our children, and they are. That's the truth. They're our children. And there's a beautiful comment that we said by every person today, which is that family atmosphere that we feel at Ja'fariya Academy. So thank you for that comment. How have you supported children with special needs?
Yeah.
This is a very important question, I feel. How have you supported, or are you supporting children with special needs, children who lack attention deficiency? The floor is open.
Yeah. So we do have, thank you for that question. You're right, it's very, very important. One of the things that we started off with by saying is we want to make this accessible and affordable. And accessible means we want to be able to reach as many children as we possibly can. And every child has different needs. So we want to ensure that we are as inclusive as possible. We are an online school, so we do have some children with special educational needs already within our school. What we do is we allow children to have a trial session, and we see how they get along with the learning environment. Different learning environments appeal to different children in different ways, and we see what additional support they need. Again, it's quite a nuanced question, and I guess it depends on what kind of special educational need your child has. So again, for anybody who does have any specific questions about their children's special needs and how we can facilitate them at Ja'fariya Academy, please feel free to contact us directly, and we will be honored to give you, as much time as you need, show you what resources we have and what interventions we can put in place to make sure that your children are accommodated and facilitated accordingly.
Thank you, Sister Zulekha. I'll add, if there are parents that have more questions and require more in-depth answers to any of the questions, because of obviously timing and because we don't want to have maybe the show drag for too long. If you have more questions, if you want more details, in-depth answers to any of your questions, please feel free to contact us, and we'll give you all the time that is required to answer all your questions. And the email is on your screen, contact@jafariya-academy.org. Next question, if there are any. How do you manage children when they are distracted by other online channels when learning online?
So I'll just jump into this, and then I'll get my teachers to jump in as well. It's very, having done this for a long time now, our teachers they know when a child is distracted. Their eyes roam in different ways. Suddenly they're smiling at things that's not funny, and we know something's going on here that shouldn't be going on. And so we're able to call them out on it very quickly. We're able to get them to share their screens. But also, I think the point is we want to try and make sure that these lessons are engaging and as dynamic as they possibly can be. So we're able to, most lessons are recorded, so we know, what's going on. And then we're in constant communication with parents. So once we feel that maybe a child seems a little bit distracted or doesn't seem to be paying as much attention, parents are contacted immediately, and we just sort of nudge them to say, I hope everything's okay. Can you just make sure that child X or child Y is concentrating, and we haven't had too many of those, but alhamdulillah, we have a great communication, a great relationship with our parents, and we work together to make sure that we are in a good partnership for our children's benefit. Sisters, Sister Yasmin, Sister Muruj, and Sister Sarah, please feel free to jump in with things that you do.
I think exactly like you said, we were able to sort of pick up when a child is, a little distracted or is distracted by something else going on in the room or on the screen. And so that's why we try to make sure that the lesson's always very engaging. The children are also always very engaged. So we get them to annotate on the screen so that they're showing us, for example, in a maths lesson, we'll get them to show us how they would solve a problem. So we try to make sure it's always very engaging so that they're not just, it's not them sat back and us teaching, but they're also, that they're a part of the learning. And so it's always keeping them engaged. It's very interactive. Yeah.
Also, if I can add to Sister Yasmin's point, we never leave a chance for them not to be able to be distracted by something else, because whether we're addressing a child and asking them a question, the rest of the children have a set task to do, and we can see that they are writing or they're completing that task to that level. So no one is ever sat with nothing to do. They always have something continuously to do, and whether they're submitting their work at the same time or if they're in a breakout room with the assistant. So there's always something to do, and like Sister Yasmin, Sister Zulekha said, we have the sixth sense. We can see their eyes. We can see when as soon as they're distracted and call them up on it. So that's alhamdulillah. That's not an issue as much as we thought at the beginning of the year it might be. It definitely is not an issue. It's like they're in the room with us.
And I guess that's why it's so important to always have your camera on. And we ask all our students to always have their camera on, because if they have their camera on, we can see them, and we know, we've had 9 months of experience. We know when a child is distracted, because if they have their camera on, we know if they're paying attention or if they're distracted. Yeah.
I'm not distracted, wallah. No, Sister Sarah spoke about sixth sense. I'm listening to every word you're saying, so I'm not distracted. Maybe I'm looking down. I'm looking at my laptop. I promise you, I'm not distracted. I'm listening to every word you're saying. Thank you for those detailed answers. Is there any more questions, Hadi, or?
Can I just add one small piece of information? Is that the school has provided to all the teachers a big screen. So they have their laptops in addition to another big screen. So they can see very well the students much better than you would normally see them in a Zoom meeting or whatever it is. Right? Inshallah. No, there's, I think we're going to have to stop, Haji. It's 8:30. We just have someone asking. He says that I would like to join as football coach, if that's possible. Sister Maryam, would you like to recruit any coaches?
Well, we're an ever-growing club, so we'll always welcome qualified coaches if you've got all the necessary qualifications. Okay. Perhaps they can contact. I was just going to say, if you drop us an email, and inshallah, we will be in touch.
Inshallah.
Lovely to hear from you, though. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Yes, just to add, if there are any comments, or if there are people that I know, our community is such an amazing community. I've been involved with community work for the last 10 years, and I'm honored to be someone who has been involved in media and this online school and other projects. And I've always noticed, alhamdulillah, I'm blessed to be part of a community that will always come and help, will always volunteer whenever they've asked. Whether it's with their time, and I'll mention this, with their money, with whatever is needed for us as a community to grow. Our community is always that community that will always come step forward and help us. So if there are people that maybe want to help, if there are people that have questions, there are people that can volunteer time, there are people that have advice for us, we're happy to listen to all your advice and your comments and the emails on your screens. I'd like to now finally thank all our dear guests at Ja'fariya Academy, Haj Ali Yassin, and the chair of trustees, our dear head teacher Zulekha Harji, our year 3 teacher Yasmin Al-Bayati, our secondary maths teacher Muruj Taqi, our head of Arabic Sara Al-Sukhni, and our sports director Maryam Datu. Thank you all for your time, and from me, Mustafa Masood, I thank you for watching this broadcast, and we look forward to hearing from you all very soon. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.